Hey, what's going on, guys? We've got some massive Union Arena news to cover today. Yuji and Sukuna have been officially unbanned. We are getting a Volume 1 and 2 set from the sounds of it. It sounds like that's what Slime is going to be. So potentially some hope for My Hero and some older Japanese sets as well. And on top of that, it looks like the purple Rukia is being added to the booster packs like the Asta was. The Zero Rukia, if you didn't see from, I believe it was like set 1 that it was initially cut. So yeah, we're going to be diving into all that, and yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy. We got a lot to cover. So diving into the Yuji and Sukuna first, it looks like you can officially just run whatever you want in JJK. And initially in Japan, when we were going to get their current ruling, we thought it was just going to be the starter deck to Sukuna restriction. But it's all been lifted now, and you can run the Yuji searches as well as many Sukunas, up to 4 obviously. And yeah, there's no restriction on that now, so that's going to make for some really interesting decks. And then on top of that, yes, Slime has officially been announced as our new title. We'll be diving into this more, talking about the set a little bit. But more than anything, it's really interesting that this set from 2023, we're going to be getting almost 3 years later. So as far as how good it's going to be, not 100% sure. But it is really, really cool to see that the producer confirmed, as you can see on the official website and in the newsletter, that we're going to be getting a 4-color set, a special booster with a wide variety of decks. So basically what they're saying here, as well as in the producer's letter, yeah, it's going to be released as a special booster with a larger card variety than normal. And with 4 colors, if you don't know, usually Volume 2 is when the 4th color gets introduced. So it looks like this Slime set is essentially just going to be Volume 1 and 2 mixed together. Now, how that's going to work, I'm not 100% sure how good it's going to be, considering Volume 2 is still December 20th, 2024. Not too sure, and I also I'm curious how many people are actually even excited about this. I almost feel like they're testing the waters with this, and then potentially, if it does well, drop My Hero in the same way. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting. Hopefully you get more packs per box or something. I have no idea what their plan is, because mixing a Volume 1 and a 2 in one release, and there's a starter deck as well, I'm pretty sure. I'm very curious how this is going to look. But if you guys do want to dive into the set, eXperts does have the Japanese translated cards, so definitely check those out. I mean, one thing I can tell you for sure, Volume 1 definitely has like the no trigger issue from the looks of it, no question. I mean, again, I couldn't tell you how good or bad the set is, but with it being a 2024 Volume 2, December 20th, you know, wouldn't be surprised if it releases and it isn't the greatest set, since it is confirmed to be releasing in June 26th, 2026. Really interesting. But yeah, and then taking a look at the Rukia real quick, if you didn't know, this is actually a pretty solid addition to Bleach. Kind of unfortunate that it was cut when it was in Volume 1, because it kind of rendered the raid Rukia just harder to run. I wouldn't say useless, but regardless, it's a 0-cost Rukia. When sidelined, place 2 cards from the top of your deck into your sideline, with a draw trigger as well. Obviously a raid target for Rukia. Clearly, if you don't know Purple Bleach, this is an amazing addition, helping you build up the sideline. Again, raid target for the Rukia, and it's a 0, so it's a great 0 choice to have in the deck. So really cool that we're going to be getting it. It looks like it'll be in the release event packs, exactly like the double Energy Gen Asta that we were getting just by going to play at locals. So should be an easy card to pick up, and it'll probably have exclusive art like the Asta too. I don't think they're just going to drop it like this. Now, when it comes to My Hero, I don't know if this pretty much confirms that we're still going to be getting it. I mean, my initial thoughts, if you haven't seen like the release list for the Japanese sets in Japan, going back to 2023 when the game first released, we should have essentially been getting Slime like right after Demon Slayer, you know, power creep wise. Granted, I feel like there's a lot of sets, even older ones, that do have some really strong decks that stand out. Nonetheless, My Hero's pretty much right there with it, the first volume from June 30th, 2023. Now, I'm sure, if you guys aren't aware, but I'm sure most of you are, there is Universes, the card game, which does have My Hero, so I feel like that's a whole other possibility as to why we may or may never get My Hero Academia in Union, is simply because of like licensing. But one of the reasons I didn't think we were ever going to get it is because of how old the set is, and with a lot of our newer sets coming out, they're going to be releasing only a few months ago in Japan compared to 3 years ago, you know, so there's going to be a clear power creep thing, and then there's obviously popularity with it. So I do think My Hero, even if it wasn't the greatest set, people would be down to buy it and hop into it. But I do know that regardless of how excited people are for certain animes, they are still keeping in mind the power creep aspect of the game, right? Because, yeah, if you don't know, right now for NA, we have a pretty stacked lineup, and, like, these sets are not going to be that old in Japan. We're going to be getting Slime in June, when it's about 3 to 2 years old for, like, the whole set, right? Because it's Volume 2 as well. Compared to Tokyo Ghoul, Sakamoto Days, Solo Leveling, Kagurabachi, Evangelion, Inuyasha, Chainsaw Man. These are all going to be 6 months old or less in Japan. Kenshin was our first showing of it, right? This set literally only being 2 months old in Japan, us getting it 2 months after Japan. It really power creeps some of the decks and sets that are a year or two old. I can't imagine how bad a 3-year-old deck is going to look compared to one that's only 2 or 3 months old power creep wise, you know? But again, Demon Slayer, JJK, Bleach, they've definitely shown us that even if the decks are on the older side and power creep is always going to be a thing inevitably, older decks can still compete. So I wouldn't count it out completely, especially since we are going to be getting it with the Volume 1 and 2 at the same time. That's kind of, oh man, AOT. I hope we get the Volume 2 of this soon because I think this needed that. I think Volume 1 and 2 AOT would have been nuts. Granted, I think Volume 2 is only a few months old in Japan, so that's a whole different conversation. It's Volume 2 is not a year old like slime at this point, you know? Especially compared to when we get it. So I do hope we get Volume 2 AOT honestly like around here or something, and it'll be a really strong set. But Volume 1 is so old in Japan that it alone just didn't stand too well at all, especially compared to Kenshin right after it. So yeah, so I am glad that they're doing that with Slime. This is going to be a really interesting release for sure. When I first saw it was going to be a 2023 release in 2026, I was very concerned, especially for a title I don't think many people are excited for. But with it dropping as Volume 1 and a Volume 2, that's going to be interesting. I just hope they don't fumble the bag and make it like really hard to pull the SRs you're chasing and stuff. Like there's no way they don't increase the amount of cards in the set, right? I think they literally worded it, right? What did they say? Yeah, they don't, I mean, they say in the producer's letter here with a larger card variety than usual. Obviously that means it should have the Volume 2 with it, but does that mean we're going to get more packs per box or more cards per pack? I'm very curious how they're going to be doing this. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting way for them to bring over really old sets in Japan that are so old. Like, I'm sorry, but like 3 years old is going to be a pretty crazy difference compared to those sets that are only a few months old. I mean, there's not too many other ones at this point. I mean, I guess Dr. Stone is a pretty popular one I've heard of. And then we've got sets like Kaiju and Yu Yu that, I mean, we got them right at about a year old's mark, so they don't have Volume 2s though, so while we're getting these sets with Volume 1s and 2s that are playing catch-up, we've got these other sets that we'll probably start to see Volume 2s for the first time. It's going to be a really interesting year for sure. But yeah, they're going to be flooding the market with, it looks like, brand new titles that don't even exist in Japan yet, mixed with Japanese ports as well. Sakamoto Days a little old, but not 3 years old compared to this. Volume 1s and 2s dropping at the same time. It's all going to be really interesting, keeping an eye on all that. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you have any pros and cons that come to mind with how they're going to be doing this. Also, if you guys didn't see, they did release the trophies as well for the top 3 Union Arena Championship. Pretty sick, actually. I didn't even think about trophies being a thing. This is going to be pretty cool. Card display, I love that. But yeah, overall, personally, I mean, this is one way to bring over older sets. I almost feel like the best thing to do, though, I don't know. Union Arena is going to do whatever they're going to do, right? At the end of the day, they're just trying to bring over what may sell and may be popular. But I think the best route that they could take with this game is sort of trying to, like, sync NA in Japan, which is more or less kind of the route they're going. I think Japan's always going to get stuff a few months ahead of us, but I don't think we should be getting stuff that's like 3 years old. You know what I mean? At that point, it's going to be a very interesting game for sure. But, I mean, we are also going to hit a point where there's not going to be any older sets to bring over, right? Or any that they'd be considering. Like I said, as far as how the list looks on my end, I wouldn't be surprised if they do drop My Hero this way. This is like their test for it. And then maybe some other sets that are really old as well, like Dr. Stone or I don't know what else would be popular over here. But if you see anything that is really old in Japan that you were maybe nervous that we may never be getting, like, I'll be honest, I didn't think there was any hope for My Hero. I think that hope is back on the table now, 100%. And yeah, hopefully they can continue to give us newer sets that are only like a few months old in Japan, because I do think that's one of the most exciting ways to play this card game, is when the cards are brand new, they've only been out in Japan for a little while, versus the meta and best decks already being established, which does happen within the first few months. But again, we're in different metas and stuff, so definitely pros and cons to doing each, right? But yeah, if you guys do want to dive into the full slime set, you can check out eXperts. They've got the full translated version of every single card, so you can check those out. There's also promo cards from Japan as well, so I'm assuming it's just going to be all in one set. Maybe that's the best way to do it. Maybe like 32 card boxes. No, there's no way. Maybe more cards per pack, more SRs per box. That's definitely a good way to do it for sure. It's going to be very interesting though. But no matter what though, it's really cool to see regardless. Union Arena, keeping an eye on our meta, trying to keep things balanced while also making sure that they're bringing over stuff in the best way possible. So yeah, when I first saw Slime, I was very concerned just to Volume 1, but with it being a Volume 1 and a 2, that's really interesting. They might be able to cook something up with that. But yeah, let me know if you guys are excited for Slime. Let me know what other older Japanese sets you would like to see brought over, especially if they do have a Volume 1 and 2 like My Hero, and if you think this is a good way or not to do it. And if you have any ideas for how you think these boxes are going to look, because I'm very curious. Are they going to literally just increase the SRs in the box and stuff? I'm so curious how this is going to look. Is it going to be more expensive? Because as we all know, UA boxes only sell at a certain price, that's for sure. But yeah, with that, appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace!